So there is a new command available in the Docker CLI, the Docker debug command. So over at the command line, Docker debug, I can then provide the name of an image, for example, the Nginx image. This is not a container. So I don't have an Nginx container running, but I will in a moment here. This will take the image and spin up a container with it. Nginx will not be running inside of it. Instead, I'm given a prompt here inside of a fish shell. You can see this is fish right here. I could also have a prompt inside of bash or Z shell. Docker debug will detect whatever shell you're using outside of the container on your host and then use that inside. And I have fish running on the outside. So there are a couple of things I could do here. First off, I could just take a look at the file system. In fact, if I run ls, you can see I've got a suggestion there in the fish shell to complete the path etc nginx. That's because I previously ran with this image and I already poked around. So you can see it's actually remembering some of my command history here. And as you can see here, I could take a look at the Nginx configuration file, dump that out. If I want, I could install a tool like bat. This will give me syntax highlighting or coloring of code. So I can add this tool in. It's not yet available, but it will be in a moment. And then once that's done, I could change from cat to bat, and now I have syntax highlighting. So you can have a host of tools and a toolbox inside of this Docker debug container. And if I detach from this particular container, if I want, instead of Nginx, perhaps I want to look at the Alpine image. You can see this is started up right away. And if you take a look at this, I've still got the bat command available because it's installed into a toolbox that's made available inside of a Docker debug container that's independent of whatever image you're looking at. And so in this case, I could take a look at etc/os release, and you can see this is Alpine Linux. And again, once you're done, exit out, that shell is closed, you're back on your host, and the entire debug environment is gone. So this is a workflow to replace perhaps doing a Docker run, followed by a Docker exec to get into a container that you spin up based on an image, just so you could poke around inside of a particular image and look at what it does. Which, speaking of, if I take a look at the Nginx image again, there's another command here called entry point. When I run this, it'll give me a breakdown of what exactly is going to happen if I were to run a container based on this image. So for example, I can see the command parameters from the Docker file, the entry point that's applied, and then combined together, it shows me the command that will be run as if I typed that from the command line from combining together both command and entry point. So there are a couple helpful features inside of this Docker debug container. Definitely check it out.